So I came across an article from a trade magazine about the MCU getting a full-blown makeover, and it got me thinking, what will that look like? What would it accomplish? I mean, will the brand ever rise to greatness again? I think I have my work cut out for me. Huh, Grant?
I believe in you.
All right, here we go. It's not often that we witness an industry giant like Disney, and specifically Marvel, admitting that we need to change. Yet, it's precisely what's happened as the MCU, or as we like to call it, the MCU, undergoes a supposed television renaissance. Oh, and secretly, it's undergoing that on the film side as well, but we'll talk about that in a future video. Now, the strikes halted Daredevil Born Again, and that became the perfect scenario. It was kind of a made-to-order catalyst for Marvel's creative overhaul, but what is most interesting to me specifically, is what prompted these sweeping changes in the way that they bring all of their superheroes to the small screen. Well, a seismic shift is underway. Wall Street is no longer looking the other way. These services actually need to justify their content spend, as money has not only gotten more expensive to borrow, it's in the hands of fewer and fewer people. You know, the customer type people. So at the heart of everyone's focus now will be in performance, both on cinematic releases, but even more so on the streaming shows. So let's take a moment to consider the context. Marvel's television series, while somewhat successful, have not consistently achieved the viewership heights of their 2021 counterparts. For instance, Loki was the only series to secure a second season, making it clear how essential these shows are to Disney's streaming platform. It also revealed just how poorly shows like She-Hulk performed and how it resonated with a smaller and smaller audience. But we'll get into more of that later. While they share production costs with their cinematic counterparts, there's a significant difference. The TV series lack a form of direct revenue generation, something that you would get out of a box office release. And not just that, but those numbers for Disney, as far as the films go, well, they haven't been great. Since Phase Bore and Phase Dive kicked off this new feminine-focused, highly divisive political agenda fest, the audience has been reduced in quarters, if not by halves, in every single iteration. This financial and politically biased model has left Disney with notable streaming losses and a level of desperation to limit churn on the Disney side of things. I haven't seen that before. Did you know that for a limited time, and this is not a commercial in any way, Disney is trying a customer recovery offer of $2.99 a month for a basic plan for 3 months? Yeah, they are. And of course, that offer is going to end in a few days, October 28th, I believe. And you know what the real value is of their service now? It's $2.99 a month, plus commercials. That extra $5 is for what? Charity? Anyway, by the end of 2022, Q4 earnings had Disney's free cash flow plummeting to a deficit of over $2 billion, which is a situation far more severe than their competitors like Paramount Global, Warner Brothers Discovery, and something that I even mentioned at the time was very, very bad news for investors. And of course, they have started to focus on that. Enter Nelson Peltz, which I've got another video coming up later this week to talk about. But let's look at the obvious reason for these ridiculous content spends. And let me tell you that it's probably not a secret, probably not to you. The underlying issue is Marvel's approach to producing television in the first place. That's it. And this is in spite of Disney's decades of experience in television. I mean, they've owned networks for a long, long time. And these shows were created in such quick succession, often without the presence of a traditional showrunner. So they produced full seasons all at once using filmmaking techniques and production metrics. And the result of that, well, chaotic production environments with a lot of creative tension and frequent replacements of talent. I think you've seen a lot of that. Sounds like Lucasfilm as well right now, doesn't it? But that wasn't all. Disney faced more turmoil when in-house VFX artists actually voted to unionize with IATSE, and that just happened back in September. But that's adding more complexity to a situation, well then, of course, and of course now in the future. Who knows what the resolution is going to be with the Film Actors Guild, or when that strike is actually going to get resolved. We're over 100 days now, and that's probably going to be another video. Geez, I better get busy this month. Hey, Grant, we're going to need to step it up. Now let's look at the example everyone is pointing out, well, for a reference anyway, Secret Invasion. It was the last MCU show before this season of Loki, which is only a few episodes deep. That show aggrieved so many sensibilities in all of the guilds, especially because of its intro sequence, which was created using generative AI. And this is the very example of a practice that the guilds seek to restrict during the negotiations. Of course, that was only the beginning of the criticism there. The next group crying foul and giving up on this stuff were the viewers. The bad writing yielded so many continuity problems and internal logic problems that it set the internet ablaze with commentary, and audiences reacted by just falling away like fall leaves. And these shows are losing steam very, very quickly. Secret Invasion ended up being Disney's third worst performing show, with 464 million minutes watched in its premiere over the course of its first 5 to 6 days. And let me tell you, the numbers for each episode after that collapsed from there. As far as alienating talent goes, Disney seems to have no rival, especially when it comes to the recent reasoning for the reset of Daredevil Born Again. As reported here, the original showrunner for Netflix's Daredevil was criticizing that you're renaming the series just to reset it to first season contracts. Obviously, he's more than a little bitter. Reportedly, Disney is actively addressing these kinds of concerns, I bet. But the recent report about Born Again and the overhaul that's taking place revealed that Disney is now embracing a more traditional approach to making shows. Not full seasons at a time, an episode at a time. And showrunners and multi-season runs will be more common, which will be a good thing. In fact, this shift towards embracing established TV practices mirrors the successful model that's employed by, or was employed by, Netflix's Daredevil originally, as part of an interconnected series with titles like Jessica Jones and The Punisher. They just kind of knew how to play off of each other for street level good guys. So the lesson here, Disney, is the one that we've been yelling at you for years now. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Don't pollute it. Don't change it. Don't drop your neo-Marxist garbage in it. I mean, do you get it now? Probably not. Truly, the only really intriguing thing here is Disney's apparent failure to learn from the past. The initial popularity of Marvel's TV series was heavily influenced by timing. Of course, you had the global crisis, which disrupted Disney's MCU film release, and that started back in 2020, leading to an absence of anything in the theaters. And of course, those films were going to be politically incredibly dated films. And the Disney Plus series were the sole Marvel events in 2021 to feature, well, once beloved characters and continue their stories. Of course, that was further abandoned by the powers that be, and instead introduced the full glory of a term that they hate, the MCU. Unfortunately, in 2022, the return of the now tarnished and tainted characters like Doctor Strange, Thor, and the Black Panther co-stars further indicated the collapse of a once powerful, massive franchise, all on the hubris of morally corrupt, creatively bankrupt leadership that is still in place at the company right now. Are they even capable of the change required to fix Daredevil, let alone the MCU, Lucasfilm, Pixar, Walt Disney Animation Studios, all the way down into their theme parks? Can they recover their soul? We can only hope. For now, we're left with the remnants of things, the things that had gone before. And as the change won't actually take shape until after the failure of the Marvels and this animated film Wish, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, we have an expected disaster incoming called Echo, which will release in one day as the first of its kind. It's a binge release, and it's being done for only one reason. Marvel wants it to be the equivalent of a fart in the wind, and they really hope that nobody pays attention to it. But don't worry, I will. So now to answer the questions that I posed earlier. I don't expect much, as stuff hasn't changed, or I don't think it will. Disney just hired a brand new DEI person, and as The Who once eloquently put it, meet the new boss, same as the old boss. But now it's your turn. Can Disney's new approach to Marvel television succeed in creating series that will stand out on their own? Will the change rebuild the lost male audience? Are we still this naive to think that under Iger, any real return to normal is even possible? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below, and be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, and until next time, see ya!